Many years ago, genius scientist Bello battled against Cherno the Destroyer. Bello was about to get the victory when Cherno revealed he forged a terrifying weapon known as the Wave Eater, which could destruct everything it came in contact with. To stop him from destroying every planet in the universe, Bello gathered people capable of teleporting and they attacked Cherno together. Cherno's ship crashed into the moon, shattering it into pieces. Cherno himself escaped in a pod and landed on Earth's core, which gave Bello the chance to keep him trapped there. This also caused Earth to suffer. Ice caps melted, deserts froze over, new diseases appeared, and poverty took over most of the planet. The Galactic Council turned to the civilized universe, asking them to help the humans. That year, 3 formidable athletes were born, the first Earthlings that gained the ability to teleport. It's now 2071, and Earth is still recovering. Anton is one of the many poor people trying to survive, but he's constantly having small accidents and everyone thinks he has bad luck. He's also considered a loser because he's afraid of even the smallest of lizards. However, he isn't actually clumsy. The reason for his accidents is Valya, Cherno's daughter, who puts Anton in these situations to try to awaken his teleportation powers. After another failed attempt, Valya gets in contact with Cherno through a hologram communicator. Cherno is frustrated because he only has 2 Wave Eaters left, and if he doesn't succeed with this he'll be trapped down here forever. He was the one that invented the protogene that gave humans the teleportation ability, and he needs it to perfect a mysterious experiment. If only scaring Anton isn't enough to trigger his awakening, then Valya should try killing him. Afterward, everyone on Earth gets ready to watch a new match of Cosmo Ball, which is played among teams from the planets that form the Council. Earth's team only has 3 players so far because teleportation is needed to play. They are Natasha, Pele, and Fan. The Earth team uses little robots known as Sputniks that control the armor around their bodies. The game is similar to soccer and it's played in a huge floating stadium shaped like a dandelion. It has a rule where one team has to kick the ball 5 times to make the opponent's goal open. If the ball reaches the goal, they get a point. While everyone gets ready for the match, Anton tries to go to the job office to ask for work, but he's ignored because the clerk wants to watch Cosmo Ball. Furious, Anton closes the windows and calls everyone out for caring more about sports than work, but this only gets him kicked out of the building. Today the Earthlings are going against the Cerusians, who are a tough opponent. While the Earthlings manage to score 3 times, the Cerusians don't let them overpower them and quickly score 4. Meanwhile, Cherno's preparing another Wave Eater, revealing they're used as the balls for the matches. This time, however, when the guards try to take it from him, Cherno fights back and breaks the mechanical arm. The guards call Bello to let them know of the issue, so Bello pauses the game to talk to the players. As a way to buy some time, he asks one of the Cerusians to pretend to be unconscious because Earth's temperature overheated him. Cherno uses the Wave Eater to kill the guards, but the last guy manages to press a button on the panel before dying and the last robot arm finally takes the Wave Eater to send it to the game. Bello allows the match to continue and thanks to the kicks from the players, the Wave Eater becomes nothing but a little rock that falls on the pile with all the other Wave Eaters they've used for Cosmo Ball. At the end of the day, the Earthlings win the game. While the whole world celebrates, Anton returns home and finds his mother on the floor. He immediately takes her to bed and asks about her medicine, only to discover they've run out. Desperate, Anton runs to the pharmacy, which is closed, and throwing a rock at the window isn't enough to break it. At that moment, a woman named Anya shows up and breaks the glass using a manhole lid on a rope, then she gets inside to steal things as well. Anton grabs the medicine and a snack for himself only to be interrupted by Officer Vasily and his partner, who start chasing Anton and Anya through town. Anya shows Anton how to parkour around the different buildings, but Anton falls through a weak ceiling and drops the medicine. The cops attempt to catch him and Anton struggles against them as he turns back to grab the medicine again. When it looks like Anton's about to get caught for good, Anya reappears by bending over a tree. The 2 of them jump on it before releasing the tree, which sends them flying inside an abandoned building. Anya drags Anton inside a room and covers his mouth to keep him quiet. However, Anton notices a lizard next to his ear and screams, giving away their location. Anya blames him for it and Anton decides to apologize by handing himself in, pushing away the cops to run to the streets. Suddenly a truck shows up and crashes against Anton, but when the cops run to check on him, they don't find him there. Under the truck there's only the spilled medicine, and the driver is running away to hide, revealing he's actually Valya in disguise. In the Dandelion Stadium, Bello is working on trying to put the moon back together when he receives an alert of unregistered teleportation. It turns out the car accident woke up Anton's powers, and he's now appearing a few blocks away. Anya finds him and drags him to his secret home inside a manhole, where the 2 of them bond over their hate of Cosmo Ball. They shake hands, but Anya also pulls his hair to tease him before Anton remembers his mother and rushes out. Once Anton's gone, Anya changes forms to reveal she's actually Valya, and she sends Anton's hair to Cherno to finish his experiment. Unfortunately, this isn't enough DNA for the experiment to work, so Cherno hurts Valya as punishment and orders her to kill Anton. Moments later, Anton gets home and is shocked to find Bello and the athletes there. They want Anton to join the Cosmo Ball team, but Anton refuses. At that moment, the cops enter the house to arrest Anton, Bello quickly solves it by freezing both officers. Then Natasha makes a huge offer. If Anton joins the team, they'll make a cure for his mother's sickness. Anton obviously accepts. Afterward they take Anton to the Amazing Stadium, which is a piece of advanced architecture held by an actual plant inside. Anton is scanned when he enters to get rid of contamination, like the candy bar in his pocket. Then Bello uses some of Anton's blood to activate his very own Sputnik, but since its legs are lizard-like, Anton is too nervous and snappy. The Sputnik gets afraid and retreats into its own body, and the other athletes promise Anton that the little guy will share its name when their connection becomes strong enough. Now it's time for some training. Anton can't hit the ball because he can't control his teleporting yet, so Bello attacks him, but not even his strongest moves activate the teleporting. Next Natasha grabs Anton and teleports him high above the room to then let him go, but this fear isn't enough either and she has to save him right before he hits the floor. Since Anton refuses to rest yet, Pele jumps in and activates a bunch of balls at the same time for maximum stress. This finally causes Anton to teleport all around the room, and Bello can't believe someone mastered this in one day. When they send another ball after him, Anton hits it 5 times, something nobody ever achieved before. He also uses his hands like a goalkeeper, which is exactly what the team needs. The training session is interrupted by a message for Bello, that calls him to a council meeting. Bello takes Natasha with him and on their way out, he tells her he doesn't have what's needed to cure Anton's mother. Anton overhears this and begins having second thoughts. During the meeting, Bello asks the other leaders for help with the cure. The aliens turn him down, saying they don't want to give such advanced knowledge to underdeveloped planets, but Bello replies he'll help the poor woman no matter if they like it or not because Anton is the next step in evolution. Moments later, Natasha takes Anton home and Valya follows them. Natasha runs some diagnoses on the mother while she shares the story of how she got pregnant when the moon was destroyed and she felt a needle pierce her belly. Anton can't stand seeing Natasha give his mom fake hope and goes to his room to think about what to do. At that moment, a boy appears at the window and tells him Anya is looking for him. Anton goes to see anyway and finds her only wearing a shirt. She also gets closer to try to kiss him and stops herself when she notices Anton's uniform. Anton explains he doesn't want to be an athlete and how they lied about his mom, so Anya gives him a pod filled with poisonous sap that Anton could feed into the stadium plant. That way, the stadium will be destroyed and everyone will stop staring at the sky. Anton hesitates because of the security system, but when Anya implies he's a coward, Anton accepts and tries to take the pod. Anya teases him and makes him trip, causing him to fall on top of her. Anton tries to kiss her but at that moment, his Sputnik activates and pulls him back. Then Natasha shows up to pick Anton up, so Anya kisses Anton to slip the pod into his hand before he leaves. On their way back to the stadium, Natasha explains the Sputniks warn you when you're in danger. Like right now, with the cops showing up behind them. Natasha isn't bothered and takes Anton inside, leaving the system to block the officers from following them. Anton gets nervous about the scanner, but thankfully the computer doesn't detect the pod. He wonders what may happen if his Sputnik never tells him its name, and Natasha explains he may die without that connection. The next day, the team gets ready for the next match, and Anton hides the pod under his clothes before his Sputnik puts on his uniform. Then Anton pretends he needs to go to the bathroom to take a moment and release the sap on the stadium floor before joining the team. Today's opponents are the Amazonians, who are huge but very friendly. Everyone is excited to see Anton as the new player, including his mom, who is now spending time with Vasily. When the match starts, Anton refuses to play and sits on the floor, causing the people to go from supporting him to booing him. Everyone calls him a quitter and Bello pauses the game to check on him. When Anton accuses him and Natasha of lying, they show him they've already gotten the medicine and his mother is slowly getting better. Bello decides Anton deserves a full explanation and takes him to his room where all the ball pebbles pile up. He explains that the balls are the wave eaters and that they can't be destroyed. However, they can't be discharged after 5 strikes from an athlete with teleportation powers. This is why the Dandelion Stadium was created. Cosmoball is their way to fight a war against Cherno without worrying or hurting the population. They cannot kill Cherno because his lab will explode with him and it's too close to Earth's core. Anton realizes the mistake he's made and runs to check on the sap, only to discover the stadium is already infected. Then Anton runs back to the arena, where he sees the poison is reaching the walls here too. He immediately warns Bello, who tries to freeze the cracks. Unfortunately, the poison is stronger than that and it begins spreading everywhere, thus Bello activates the evacuation mode to send all the viewers back to their homes on the now flying seats. Cherno begins using its last wave eater to control the poison and tries to grab a few of those seats, prompting the athletes to use their teleportation to save them. Then Cherno releases the wave eater into the stadium, and when one of the Amazonians kicks it away, it flies in Natasha's direction. Luckily Anton acts fast and teleports her away. Afterward Anton begins hitting the wave eater to discharge it, but since he's hit as well, Natasha has to help him finish. Everyone congratulates Anton, but he feels wary because when he takes off his glove, he notices a weird spark on his hand. Furious about the trick Anya played on him, Anton hides his Sputnik in the stadium and goes to see Anya. As soon as he arrives, Volya freezes him by throwing powder at his face, then reveals his real form as Volya. While Anton's Sputnik makes a hole in the wall and asks Bello and Natasha to follow it, Volya tells Anton she's responsible for his bad luck before poking his forehead with a special weapon to take blood to gather enough DNA. Cherno receives the pod with the blood and uses it to finish his experiment, which turns out to be a giant white creature that Cherno jumps into to control it from the inside. Volya leaves the room to reunite with her father, and the Sputnik takes the chance to find Anton's body. It uses the blood from the activation to heal Anon's wound before shutting down. As Anton wakes up, Bello and Natasha arrive and hear Anton confess he poisoned the stadium. At that moment, Cherno appears on the hologram and asks Bello to join him, calling him his creator. Natasha wants to know the meaning of this, but Bello refuses to explain and asks her to get ready to fight. Anton's left behind for being a traitor. Cherno uses the creature to escape his prison, destroying a bunch of buildings as it flies to outer space, where he begins creating more wave eaters from an egg. Bello gathers the athletes from all three teams and asks them to spread around the city to protect it. Then he flies back to the stadium to make a broadcast where he tells the whole world about the truth behind Cosmoball. Meanwhile, Anton makes his way home, and everyone insults him for being a quitter. In his room, he tries to fix his Sputnik before lying down to let depression take him. His mother finds him and explains everyone makes mistakes, the real strong people are those who work to fix them. Natasha teleports to the stadium to ask Bello for an explanation, so Bello finally confesses Cherno had been his own experiment. His mistake had been giving him feelings, and Cherno began to create research so unsafe that it earned him banishment. As Bello begins flying the stadium into space too, Cherno uses the new wave eaters to attack Earth, prompting the athletes to jump into action and do their best to kick them all away. Lots of spaceships sent by the council begin to arrive and try to capture the white creature, but Cherno's hold on it allows it to escape and start attacking the fleet, leaving only the Dandelion left. The wave eater attack is getting hard to handle by the athletes and Fan gets hurt, causing her to start falling. Fortunately, she wakes up just in time to teleport away, but their defenses are failing and the wave eaters are damaging the city. Anton sees this and is so desperate to help that he wants to join without armor. This determination is enough to finally activate his bond with his Sputnik. After a series of images about the past few days plays in his mind, the Sputnik reveals its name as Mowgli. Anton teleports into the city to help some civilians before joining the athletes in the sky. Pele immediately asks him to help him protect Fan because she's hurt. The mother takes Mowgli to protect it and Vasily shows up to take her to a safer place. Both adults use this chance to confess their feelings for each other. Anton finds Fan on the ground, insisting she's fine, and he decides to hand her to the cops that are guiding the citizens into a shelter. Afterward, Anton goes to stop the wave eaters. He kicks the first one with no issues, but the second one hits him and sends him to the ground. This danger activates Mowgli and it goes looking for its master, discovering Anton lost his clothes but he's healthy because his body absorbed the wave eater's energy. Then Mowgli becomes Anton's armor again and they fly up together to stop the rest of the wave eaters by absorbing them instead of kicking them. Up in space, Bello wants to leave in a pod to see Cherno, so he gives Natasha the Dadelion's control, asking her to save Earth if he doesn't come back alive. Natasha refuses to lose him and grabs him to teleport inside the white creature. Cherno asks Bello to show his real alien face, then he tries to kill him. Natasha jumps in to stop him and Volya comes in his defense. Now the girls are fighting each other while Cherno and Bello carry on their own battle. Volya overpowers Natasha, and captures her by pushing her into the creature's wall. It looks like Cherno has the advantage, but Bello takes the distraction to freeze the egg that produces the wave eaters, then he freezes Cherno as well. Volya transforms into Natasha to approach Bello unnoticed and uses her powder to freeze him too. On Earth, Anton decides to risk it and slowly teleport further from the atmosphere, which athletes aren't supposed to do. Fan arrives at the shelter and Vasily decides he doesn't want children to protect him, so he kisses Anton's mother before asking another cop to join him to defend the shelter. Volya frees Cherno and when he's about to kill Bello, Anton teleports inside the creature, grabbing Volya as hostage. However, Cherno doesn't care about his daughter because she was an imperfect creation, so he pierces through her to attack Anton. Fortunately, his armor protects him from damage, but Cherno still pushes him to trap him in the wall. Suddenly Bello releases one last ice ball from his fingers, and a furious Cherno turns to finally kill him. Volya tells Anton he's connected to the creature now, thus he should try talking to it. Anton concentrates and appears in the creature's mind. The beast begins chasing him to get him out, so Anton runs to the door only to stop at the last second. Confused, the creature stops too, and Anton explains violence isn't necessary before touching the beast's forehead. Happy to make a friend, the creature becomes a little puppy that rests on Anton's hand. Back in reality, the creature's walls release Anton, allowing him to teleport outside right before Cherno attacks. When the beast sees Anton for real, it begins crying, so when Cherno tries to regain control of it, the creature has enough strong emotions to fight back. As the creature shakes its body to capture Cherno, lots of wave eaters begin falling on Earth. The cops get ready to hit them and the other citizens come outside to support them with chants like in Cosmoball. The creature manages to put Cherno inside the Wave Eater egg and expels it so it can explode in the middle of space. While Anton teleports Natasha away, the citizens watch how the Wave Eaters freeze in the air because Cherno isn't there to control them anymore, and they celebrate their victory. Sometime later, Natasha has taken over Bello's duties, but she works as a team in the Dandelion with the other athletes and the creature. Without Cosmo Ball, now everyone can properly work on making Earth great again, and they use the creature's powers to put the moon back together. One afternoon, Anton's mother shows up with Vasily, but the cop clarifies Anton's charges have been dropped as thanks for saving the planet. Vasily confesses he wants to marry Anton's mother, and Anton approves, happy to see his new family keeps growing. Meanwhile in space, Valya floats away in the pod the creature expelled her in. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.